Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. At least 100 people shot, 17 fatally wounded during a violent 4th of July weekend in Chicago. That's up 27% from last year's 2023 4th of July weekend. Sit back, enjoy the ride. I'm going to show you news clip, things like that. Let's get the intro going. Make sure you hit the notification bell if you're not, being notified. And make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. All right, let's get this popping. All right, you know what it is. Unique Mecca Audio, man. I'm getting ready to bring you this joint here and show you what's been going on in Chicago. We got to talk to the people in Chicago because don't y'all fall victim like we fell victim during the crack era, having to go to the government to ask for help to clean up our problem when we supposed to be able to talk to our own children, our own community, our own family, our own friends to try and get this in order. You run to the government, they're going to create crazy laws to put our babies away forever. And if they lucky, they only do 26 years in prison like me. Yes, I was lucky to only do 26 years. But when you got life with no chance of parole, 26 years is being lucky to serve. All right, let's go.
This weekend's numbers have already surpassed those from last July 4th weekend. Later this morning, Police Superintendent Larry Snelling and the mayor will discuss the situation we are in, and that is set to take place about 1 hour from now. Nearly 100 people have been shot since July 4th morning. The youngest victim, an 8-year-old boy, the oldest, a 74-year-old woman. Overnight incidents included a homicide in Austin. Police went to a home on the 200 block of North Central Avenue to conduct a well-being check. They found a 36-year-old man on the kitchen floor bleeding from a gunshot wound to the head. Evidence techs found several shell casings on scene. 3 men were wounded outside the University of Chicago Hospital Sunday. The victims were standing at 57th and Cottage Grove where someone opened fire from an SUV. One victim was shot in the nose. Police also found a blue Dodge Charger riddled with bullet holes. Weekend shootings with multiple victims included an incident in Columbus Park at Menard and Jackson in Austin. 2 people exchanged gunfire and took off. A total of 7 people were shot. A 40-year-old man died after he drove himself to Stroger Hospital. The youngest shooting victim was 8-year-old Bryson Orr, killed in Grand Crossing, where a balloon release took place to remember him and 2 female relatives who were also killed. Several people fired into a home at 71st and Woodlawn July 4th at about 6 a.m. 2 other young boys were also injured in the attack. And the numbers went up even though additional officers were deployed over the holiday weekend. And the mayor over the weekend announced the opening of an emergency services assistance center for residents of communities affected by the ongoing violence. We expect to hear more about that at a news conference at 9 this morning. Outside police headquarters at 35th and Michigan, Judy Wang, WG.
All right, so that's what it is, man. That's what it is. Let me put something up here so we can get this thing. Let y'all see what's going on. This is crazy. This is the 4th of July weekend. This is the 4th of July weekend in Chicago. At least 100 people were shot. 17 was fatally wounded during a violent 4th of July weekend in Chicago. Like I said, that's up 17% from last year's holiday. When are we going to step in and talk to our babies? Chicago experienced a spate of gun violence over the long 4th of July holiday weekend, during which 102 people were shot, including at least a dozen fatally, right? According to the police reports. If you can't get no crazier than this, man. Let me bring this up here, and I got to show y'all. This way y'all going to wind up. This for the youngest. Make sure you share this video with all the young dudes that you know out there, because we're going to show them where they're going to wind up right now. All right? This way they're going to wind up right now, right here in this prison, just so you understand. All right? Now, check. From July 3rd at 6 p.m. through July 7th at 6 a.m., at least 100 people were struck by gunfire and 17 of them died from their wounds, according to the Chicago Police Major Violent Notification Systems. Another 2 people were shot later on July 7th, according to the police. Pay attention to this now. This is what's happening in our community that we have to step up and try and do something about. In 2023, the Chicago Sun-Times reported at least 73 people were shot during the 4-day weekend, including an 11-year-old child. That was 73. It went up to over 100 in 2024. The year before that, it did a little less. I'm going to get with that. Chicago this year makes a 27% increase in shootings over the weekend. Could you imagine 100 people being shot? 100 people being shot in one city. Come on, y'all. Let's come together. A lot of y'all, right? Y'all got to remember this. Right, let's ride. We ain't ride yet. We're going to ride. Y'all got to remember this. When we're in these communities, everyone knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, like they did the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. If y'all know what that is, put it in the comments. But, you know, out those 100 people, whoever the alleged shooter is or shooters are, I guarantee you they know somebody that's mourning this situation that's going on. So now we're killing our family and friends because of whatever street things we got going on. The United States and law enforcement statistics and independent researchers have continually pointed to summer months as a time of violence in gun violence, with from July 1st to July 7th being an exceptionally violent period each year for both mass shootings and individual incidents. Now, they're going to tell you why they think that in a minute. Now, July 4th, right? July 4th itself accounted for more mass shootings than any other single calendar day over roughly a decade. A study shows that July 5th, day after July 4th, is the second most shootings that happened for the year. That's July 5th and July 4th. See, I stayed in July 4th. I didn't want to go out. I just stayed in because, you know, I didn't even watch the fireworks from TV. I didn't see nothing to really celebrate like that. That's just me. So I stayed away from all that. Now, like I said, the summer heat, right? This is what they saying. They saying the heat from the summer. Everybody know things crank up in the summer. We don't want y'all to wind up back in this prison. That's why we're doing this in Unique Mecca Audio. Share this video with all the youngins you know. I don't care how many views it get. If we catch one alleged shooter to say, man, I'm gonna put my gun down, because I know a lot of people have caught me on my little YouTube phone. Let me get the actual phone out. A lot of people call me on this YouTube phone right here, right? And when they call me on this phone, the first thing they say is, man, Unique, don't stop. They listening. I'm listening. You know, said, I know so many people that I put to watch your videos, and from them watching your videos, they put the sack down and stop hustling because they're not trying to go through what you went through. So that means that they are listening. But like they said, the summer, right? Experts say that the summer can elevate discomfort, talking about from the heat. They said that the heat could cause discomfort and aggression, right? A potential catalyst for violence at a time kids are out of school and warmer weather drives more people outdoors in the country with more guns than people. Let me explain that to you in normal term, because that's the fugazi crap they put on the news. I don't have time for that. What they saying is, you know, when the weather get hot, more people go outside, and that's when the aggression, you know, the realizing that, you know, we're in poverty, realizing that bills can't be paid, realizing that somebody owes us some money, been dragging us, and now we got to pay our rent or want to take our child or grandchildren to the movies and can't because this dude owes us, but yet he's driving around with his kids in the car going to all these fancy events, and you sitting there can't take yours because he's one of them that owe you. So now you say, let me get my joint, because he playing with my money and my emotions. That's how a lot of this play out over the summer, so you understand. On Friday afternoon, dozens of people had already been shot. On Friday, July 4th was Thursday. They say by Friday, over a dozen people was already shot in Chicago. Mayor Brandon Johnson, obviously he's black, released a statement addressing the violence. This is what he said, right? Let me tell you what he said. He said, "We're devastated by the recent violence that has left our community in a state of grief, and we expect our heartfelt, right? Oh, we extend our heartfelt condolences to the families and communities impacted by these recent events." Johnson said in the statement, "The city of Chicago is committed to ensure the safety of all residents and visitors." Let's focus on the visitors, because if they cared about the residents, they would have been did something. Like, they didn't go deal with FBG Duck until something happened down there in the Gold Coast district. Now, you got, people saying, "I'm not going to Chicago." I got a daughter that's going to Chicago real soon. I can't even say when. But I got a daughter that's going to Chicago real soon, right? It's like they tell everybody, don't go to Chicago. Like it's a war zone. You understand? And by them doing that, the city of Chicago is losing so much money on tourism. And this is summertime where people want to go to different places and Chicago. But now they can't go to Chicago because they done labeled it a war zone from everything going on. So what they're going to do next, right? Let me explain to you. This is the way they work. Because this is what they did back in the 90s, in the 80s, right? Let me ride with you. We're going to ride real quick. We're going to ride. Back in the 80s, when it was what they called the crack epidemic, when crack was everywhere, you know what I mean? What they did was they flooded the community with crack. Crack is everywhere. You can walk right on any street corner and buy an ounce to break it down and sell it. You can go to certain blocks and go buy the whole kilos to break it down and sell it. So they made it so easy, and there was no jobs, not mollifying, not saying that it's a justification. It's just the reason and the facts on how it played out. So anywhere you could go and go buy a little bit of crack cocaine, bottle it up, make some money, pay your rent, pay your bills, and help your mama. You know what I mean? Us growing up, mama's boy, because our mamas put up with our mood swings and our slight mental issues that we had and cuddled us when we was wrong. We all want to take care of our moms. So when that happened, what the news did was they put all this stuff up there that was happening related to crack to scare the nation. Once they scared the nation that crack was dangerous and people was putting children in microwaves and pushing people in front of the train and everything that is going on. Once they did that, you understand? Now the mayor and the local people, the local congressmen, the community, they all went and turned to who they thought would help them, the government. "Oh, government, could you please help us? The crack is taking over our babies. They're robbing people. They're killing people. They're raping people. They're doing this, they're that. Can you help us?" And they said, "Oh, no problem. We'll help you." And they went right behind closed doors. They said, "Now's the chance to get rid of these dudes. Let's make a law that if they get caught with this much crack," because they all deal with this much crack, because the average person selling it is selling at least a 50 block. Back then, they was selling $50 for one little piece, and it dropped down to $2 and $3. And I'm the one that lowered it in New York to $1 a bottle. And yes, I made a profit at $1 a bottle. But anyway, right? Not bragging about it, just telling you what happened, because the rat bastards that deserve gunshots all day is gonna try and run with it that I'm mollifying. I'm just telling you the facts on how it played out. Anybody could get crack at that time. Just like right now, like they just said, they already did a statistic. There's more guns in the United States than there's people in the United States. Anybody could get a gun. Anybody could get a gun millions of ways, and they just allowed it to come in. Now that the guns are in. Back in the day, we used to get in a fight. We'd fight on the street corner. The old heads tell us, "Come on, my brother beat you." My brother used to put me to fight. Let me just ride. My older brother used to put me to fight all the kids in the neighborhood. If he seen a kid that thought he was tough, or a kid that might have, was talking slick to him, he'd be like, "Nah, I'm going to get my little brother on you." And that's the way it was. They bring us out there, and he'd be like, "Yo, get him." Like, I'm old dog, get him. And of course, I'm his dog. It's my master. So I get out there and I put my work in. You know what I mean? And sometimes I got beat. Sometimes they got beat. But the whole point is we knuckled it up. Because then we always got a do-over. Dude might see my brother later on and say, "Yo, I think your brother got out on me and I'm ready for him now. Tell him to come back." And we get a do-over. But when you out there shooting somebody, fatally killing them, and then say, hey, I want a do-over. No, there's no do-overs. Just grieving. Just grieving. So we need to take it back to the days. I think what we should do is we should open up more boxing gyms, more what they call that the martial arts, like we had back in the days. Remember we grew up, they had all kinds of, gyms that you could go in to go fight. Whether it's taekwondo, karate, hey, you know what I mean? Boxing, jujitsu. You had all of these gyms, and that's where the youth went to challenge their energy, their negative aggression and energy in the gym, hitting a bag. Now they get a pistol and they go out, and you already know. They just start spraying, but there's no do-overs. There's no reason for 100 people to have been, shot and 17 fatally wounded in one weekend anywhere in America. That's some overseas in war type of numbers. This is on the streets of Chicago. 100 people were shot and 17 fatally wounded. When are we going to come up? Look at this, right? One of those killed over the weekend was an 8-year-old boy who was shot alongside 2 other boys, 5 and 8. 3 babies. 3 babies were shot. Y'all need to really share these videos with the shooters. Because I know everybody knows everything what's going on and you already know what time it is. Share these videos so they understand. You could wind up in this prison. I got over 150 prison story videos. That's why I fell back on them. Didn't want to sit there and oversaturate it. So they got 150 prison stories you could sit down and look at with the shooters so they know what happened when they go in. All of these shooters that shooting at each other and killing each other from these little cities, right? Even New York City, you know what I mean? Chicago, Miami, D.C., wherever. You beefing with people from a section of your town or a different block from your town. And then when you go in prison and the feds bring you in there, they could send you anywhere in the 52 states. And 9 times out of 10, when they send you outside of your immediate area, it's only going to be a handful or maybe only just you. And that's when you see how tough you are. Or it might just be you and your op, where you killed his own brother. But now the feds put the 2 of y'all together in Victorville. Now it's you two, your op's brother that's still alive that you killed, that wants you dead. Now both of y'all wind up in Victorville or Atwood or Lum Park or Beaumont, bloody Beaumont. Now when y'all wind up there in these cages, y'all have to come together as one to fight off the masses that's against your area. Where now you and your ops done become partners and you done took your ops brother's life. Y'all understanding this? Or I'm just talking, Several, right? Check this out. Several 15 to 16-year-olds were also among those shot over the weekend. Several 15 and 16-year-olds shot. We had 3 under 10, And then we got, in another instance, 8 people between the ages of 18 and 24 suffered gunshot wounds in separate incidents. Several people ages 15 to 40 was also shot, right? And a 40-year-old died. You see all this killing? What is going on? 4th of July will be a celebration for this country. But this is the forgotten part of the country. Y'all right there where you got, I think it's the Staples Center, right around the corner from one of the biggest projects out there. They want your real estate. They have to find a way to get it to not look like how, they got Colorado and Texas from the Indians. They don't want to make it look like they're just roughing it off. So they let these things play out. Let the violence and murders go down. Let the people cry to them for help. Once they cry to them for help, they let them in and say, we'll solve your problem. But they don't tell them we're going to take your babies away for the rest of their lives. We're not going to rehabilitate them. They don't tell them that. They'll say, it's out of control. We got to get them, lock them up, throw away the key. We got to get them, lock them away, throw away the key. And you're just so frustrated and tired and looking for any means a resolution, then you say, okay, boss. You know what I mean? And they sit there and they give each other a low high five. Ah, we got them. You know what I mean? We're going to get them out of there now. We're going to get that property. You know? Now, right? Overall, the city reported 617 homicides in 2023. 617 homicides in 2023. Chicago police data showed a 13% drop in murders that year compared to the previous year when it had 709. People were killed. Now, of course, they didn't tally the motive for the numbers, the murders for 2024. Yet. But at the rate it's going, the city of Chicago has canceled. Right, this is what they did. Right, show you how crazy it is. The mayor of Chicago allegedly skipped town on the 4th of July weekend. This is the mayor that's supposed to be at the fireworks celebration. The mayor said, man, I'm getting out of Dodge. They waiting on the mayor to come back to Chicago to make a speech. He felt like he had no control of Chicago, that he abandoned Chicago. And then the police that wanted to take off to spend time with their families just didn't want to risk getting shot because they knew there was going to be more gunfire going on that day. Those same police, right? They told them, you can't get off on 4th of July weekend. It's mandatory you work because we need more police present. They're like, damn, we got to go out here and deal with this. They told the police, you can't get off the 4th of July weekend. It's mandatory you work. Y'all need to really wake up, man. Now let me talk to the youth, right, and explain this to y'all that's out there, the lead shooters and, things of that nature. That's your brother you're killing. When you kill your brother, there's no more coming back. Our numbers get weak. When we're in the prison, even when we know, we got a beef with somebody, from our neighborhood on the East Coast, when we wind up in the West Coast, we stick together, and now we come together because we need our numbers strong. If we ran off those numbers and there's only 5 of us on the compound, and 3 of us was beefing with 2 of us from the street or from over there, and then now we get there and we run off the 3 or the 2, and now it's only 3 or 2 left on the compound, and then here come 10 Blood, 10 Crips, or 10, Serenos, or 10 Border Brothers, or 10, skinheads, you know what I mean? It could be 10 anybody coming at just 2 of y'all when you had 5, but you ran them off. You understand the words that come out of my mouth? So now what I'm saying to y'all on the street, how that play out and how we need to incorporate this out here. Don't just wait till you go to prison to try and unite. We need to unite out here to know that the blacks is the minority out here. So therefore we need to come together to keep our numbers strong. 90% of us, that's out there, 90% of them that's out there on the street committing these acts have children. Are you thinking about where your children will be in the next 20 years, or the danger that they'll be in the next 5 minutes from your actions that you're carrying on now, not thinking it's going to trickle down to affect your children or your family or your loved ones? Because you already know that old saying, karma's a bitch. She'll come get you. She don't skip nobody. She might skip a generation. She might skip 2 generations. And here it is, the 3rd generation later. Now here go karma coming in and say, you know what, I want my get back. I know it was your great-grandfather that did it, but your ass got to pay. You know what I mean? And then now you get into a whole bunch of mess. So I'm asking y'all to really think before you slide, before you pull the trigger. If there's any way that this could be resolved without the gun, I'm always for a good old fist fight. Even in Club 2000, let's ride. Let's ride. Even in Club 2000, I told my DJs, right, don't never stop the music. And they'd be like, oh, I turned it off because they was fighting. Figure, let them fight. If you stop the music and people don't know what's going on at this end while a fight is going on over here and they see the crowd over here moving and the music stop, now everybody's going to make a run for the door. You're going to have a stampede in a situation like what you had with Diddy in the City College joint. So prevent that, to prevent that, right? What you do, right? Listen, what you do to prevent that, right, is keep the music playing. If you stop my music, you fired. You understand? So I say all that to say that we have to come together and look out for each other. If you have a fist fight, you can heal up. You shoot somebody in the face, you can't heal up. You even shoot them in the arm or the leg, even a non-fatal play, you can't, you know what I mean? And it's hard for a person to let it go or forgive you if you shoot them. Just like it'll be hard for you to forgive somebody for shooting you or killing your comrade. And you see all this playing out throughout the major cities in the United States now because there's not enough people talking to them. My number is going to be on the screen, and I'm going to tell you my number. It's 917-680-9091. Feel free to call me if you have these violent urges and you just want an OG to talk to try and talk you down out of it or to tell you some damn sense that this is where you're going to wind up. My number is going to be on the screen. Follow me at Instagram at Unique Mecca Audio. Make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed. If you already subscribed, right, make sure your notification is turned on so you can know when these videos is going up. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. Make sure you cop the book of Ruin Harlem. Been on here too long. I just wanted to let y'all know that it is real out here, man. We have to come together. We don't get no do-overs. There is no reason for me to be doing a video today. It's supposed to be a big, happy 4 or 5 day weekend that everybody's supposed to be happy that they spent it with family and friends. For me to come on here and say at least 100 people were shot, 17 was fatally wounded during the violent 4th of July weekend in Chicago. That's 27% up from last year. Nowhere I'm supposed to say that. I'm supposed to say how the fireworks were spectacular. I met this girl over here. I ran into this homeboy over here at this cookout. The food was good. I can't wait till the next one next year. Now everybody's thinking on how they're going to duck for cover in 2025 for 4th of July out in Chicago. Don't stop your family, friends, loved one, and your children from going out and enjoying the holidays. You know, there have to be a time to put the guns down, even for a day. Let the people celebrate life instead of always mourning life. I've seen more funerals, right, than birthdays since I've been home. It was always the other way around. Everywhere I go, they got the candles lit. You know, what they call those things. I try not to even learn that. Everywhere I go, that's what's going on. When I was home, you rarely saw that. That was at places where someone might have got, you know, hit crossing the street. But all there's gunshot in the building, and all over the buildings, they got these little shrines all over the buildings. What have we come to? We have to stop this and work together, man. Again, my number is 917-680-9091. Please, people, if you just need somebody to talk to, call me. If I don't answer, leave a message. That means I'm living my life too, or I'm in a situation in an area that they might be 100 shooting and 17 fairly wounded. And I know you don't want me to be sitting there with my head down in the phone talking about I'm texting you back, or I'm walking down the street talking to you. This is how I see y'all carrying on the street like you don't know that there's killers out there. Accidents happen out there. A car ran into the park where they had a celebration also over the weekend. And dudes is out there in flip-flops trying to get out the way. Wear the flip-flops in your yard, man. Don't go in the park wearing flip-flops because if something happens, how you going to get out the way? I know it's comfortable. I know it's cool. But ain't your life, your health, your loved one you with that you need to protect, but you can't because you got on these flip-flops worth more than that? So don't think I'm just hard on flip-flop. You get these clowns that come on here and say, oh man, that was only in prison. He institutionalized. He talking about don't wear slippers. Yeah, don't wear slippers in the doggone street. How you gonna defend yourself and get out the way in case of emergency if you got on flip-flops? You know what I mean? And then the dudes got on the flip-flops with their socks on. I know somebody gonna say, oh yeah, you know, I move better in bare feet. Then why you got socks on with your flip-flops? You got on socks with your flip-flop, you jump out your flip-flop, you slide all over your place until you get your socks off. By the time you bend over, get your socks off, all in your face. And that's what we're trying to prevent here at Unique Mecca Audio, man. It's not that hard. I've been up here long enough, man. Y'all enjoy your time, man. But come on, family, we gotta come together better than this. All right.
Cheers, cheers, toast to the crime, toast to the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime. Fresh out the can of 26, he back on the strip, getting back in the mix. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. An Instagram page and a YouTube, you could go and visit. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops, Mecca Audio. Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spin a couple bands on the dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a roaring uptown. Baby horn uptown, Dominican bust down. Now we on the positive, you got a lot to give. Now you trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend an ear. He started in uptown, he gon' finish there. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community ours. So we can